Welcome to The Burn with Ryan Van Deaver, presented to you by Hot Zone Sports. The information you need to know, built with you in mind. For the people, by the people, and with the people. If you're new here, don't forget to click that subscribe button so you don't miss a single episode. Now, on to the show. The 49ers have negotiated the framework of trades that would send wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk to the Cleveland Browns or the New England Patriots. Yeah, we all know Brandon Aiyuk has been in trade talks, supposedly, since before the NFL draft. So it's easy to say that the San Francisco 49ers fumbled the ball in grabbing more equity in the NFL draft, but here we are today. But right now, it's pretty much up in the air if Aiyuk is going to determine if he's going to accept the contract terms for either of these franchises from the Browns or the Patriots. The 49ers permitted Aiyuk to negotiate potential contracts with the Browns, Patriots, Commanders, and the Steelers. The Commanders have removed themselves from trade talks with Aiyuk, and the Steelers effectively are no longer an option after they declined to meet the 49ers' trade demands. You know, a lot of people thought the Steelers were going to be a perfect fit, adding another weapon next to George Pickens, but unless anything changes in the trade talks, I don't see it happening at all. The Browns and the Patriots have given their best offers to Aiyuk's camp while presenting trade proposals that the 49ers have accepted. The 49ers would likely acquire a wide receiver and a package of draft picks from the Browns or the Patriots if the trade were to go through. The Browns would be in a position to add Aiyuk if wide receiver Amari Cooper were sent to the 49ers as part of the trade. I also do not see them getting rid of Amari Cooper. I will say that. The Patriots are expected to deal former 49ers wide receiver Kendrick Bourne as part of the deal if Aiyuk were to accept New England's offer. Now, if Aiyuk ultimately decides to decline to sign a multi-year contract with the Browns or the Patriots, there remains a possibility that he could remain with the 49ers. I know. Awkward. Aiyuk and the 49ers haven't engaged in substantive contract talks over months. He remains tied to the 49ers on his rookie deal that is scheduled to pay him $14.124 million this season, and he's reportedly wanting $26 to $30 million per year. That's top 5 wide receiver pay. Aiyuk is coming off 2 seasons in which he led the 49ers in receptions and receiving yards. He was named second team AP All-Pro after catching 75 passes for 1,342 yards and 7 touchdowns last season. Adam Schefter of ESPN also reported that teams not only have to meet what the 49ers desire in a trade, but they also have to sign Aiyuk to a long-term contract, making it even more difficult than previously thought to get this trade completed. In any case, it feels like this trade is imminent. It's not an if anymore, but a when. To me, it makes little sense to get rid of Aiyuk for the 49ers. I get from a contract perspective, he's an elite wide receiver, and they are in a win-now type of climate. Unless he wants $30 million plus top 3 wide receiver money, there shouldn't be this big of a disconnect for the team. Now, on the 49ers, he's probably the 6th or 7th most valuable player. If you actually think about it, just imagine. Trent Williams goes down for the year. Their offensive line is going to go to complete shit. if Aiyuk goes down for the year, yeah, I'm sure you heard the chirpings in my voice. Nothing's really going to change because they have a lot of depth. They still have Debo, a freaking bruiser at wide receiver. They still have George Kittle. Nothing's going to change. Aiyuk isn't in the same class as Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, or Tyreek Hill. Nobody can convince me otherwise. He's a superstar, but he's not special like these other guys that I just mentioned. He's not even close. Can he run a drag route or a slant and run 70 yards for a touchdown? No. Can he be lined up with the number one cornerback on the other team and consistently beat him on a streak route? No. We haven't seen any of that. So my question is, how much of this is actually Shanahan's offense? Then you have to think about the injuries. Debo Samuel has spent time injured last year. George Kittle was banged up. CMC, we all know his list of injuries in his career. You need somebody who can be relied on. And Aiyuk took that step forward this last year. But it's a shame that the 49ers and Aiyuk couldn't get this done. It is truly a shame. But with Brock Purdy's contract coming up, and you got to sign Trent Williams, granted, he's getting older, but you still need to sign him because he's the one that leads that line. Plus, for an offensive lineman, he's probably one of the most athletic offensive linemen in the entire league. Why would I say that? Because they have him going on blocking patterns that most offensive linemen can't even think of doing. They have him going in motion and then blocking those outside linebackers. I've even seen cornerbacks from time to time. Not many offensive linemen can do that. So whether he's aging or not, you're going to have to restructure that contract. Now, if you are a Brandon Aiyuk fan, where would you want him to go? The Steelers? The Steelers need a wide receiver to complement George Pickens and their possible playoff team. Not to mention they have a new offense, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, whichever quarterback that you pick. I like to pick Justin Fields for this because running quarterback, Najee Harris, yeah, that's kind of a win-win. So you have the Steelers, right? Now the Browns, they've been mentioned as well. They have a absolutely stacked roster, but they're still trying to figure out what they have in Deshaun Watson. Who knows if you even have anything with Deshaun Watson? He's been so injury-plagued, and he's hung out in so many strip clubs, you don't even know which one you're going to get. Are you going to get the guy from Houston Texans? Or are you going to get a guy that went to strip clubs and ended up getting in trouble? Now the Bills. They haven't been mentioned. But if I were a Brandon Aiyuk fan, a true fan, I'd want him to go there. They lost Stephon Diggs in that trade. They drafted Keon Coleman. Okay. But do you even know if Keon Coleman is a true number one? No. He hasn't even played a preseason game yet. So you don't know what you got. You've seen him in camp. And we all know what you see in camp. Flashes. They look like Hall of Famers in freaking training camp. But once they get on the field in the regular season, a lot of the times they freaking flop. Now, the Bills have been trying to get over on the Chiefs for years. And with them losing Diggs, they're lacking that true number one. Do the Bills actually believe that Coleman is that number one? Really hard to believe that at this point. Now, outside of Coleman, you have Khalil Shakir and Curtis Samuel. Those aren't number ones either. They're average wide receivers at best. C-, maybe a C grade on those wide receivers. It would make a hell of a lot more sense to bring Aiyuk to Buffalo, and he'd be a great fit with Josh Allen. Yeah, the New England Patriots, they need a wide receiver. They need a wide receiver to help with the development of Drake May or Joe Milton. Whoever you think is the guy. I would like to gander that the Patriots would go after their first-round pick, but, I've heard Joe Milton is sending freaking supersonic waves into that camp, so you never know which quarterback they're actually going to go with. But the Patriots, they don't have a true number one wide receiver either. One would hope to elevate the young wide receiver core, Pop Douglas, KJ Osborne, and rookies like Jalen Polk and Javon Baker. Considering Bourne, if the trade did happen, he would be involved in the trade. So bye-bye Bourne. Probably the most experienced wide receiver they have. Now, whatever trade you think is going to happen, it needs to happen quickly because we are absolutely halfway into this offseason or this training camp. And he's going to have to learn a new playbook. He's going to have to learn the new routes. He's going to have to get chemistry with that new quarterback because you're not just going to plop yourself into a new team and just say, all right, I don't need to learn anything. I'm good. He's going to have to be able to adapt to this new situation. He's going to get paid just like he wants. But the problem is going to be, is he actually going to be a good teammate? Because this offseason, he turned toxic really fast. Let's talk about Justin Fields for a minute. Teammates love Justin Fields, no matter where he's at. Even when his team was struggling to find himself in Chicago, his teammates seem to have a love affair with this. I still think that the Bears gave up on him a year early. Sue me. But I get it. I really do. Caleb Williams, possible franchise needle mover in the draft, a.k.a. Hall of Famer, a.k.a. the greatest thing since sliced cheese. I get it. It's hard not to have that type of tunnel vision with a prospect like that. The crazy thing is that in Chicago, they had a hard time getting rid of him. Justin Fields. Not just the fans. Like the fans were massively upset. But the entire building was upset that they even had to contemplate getting rid of him. And when they did get rid of him, it was even harder. But he got traded to the Steelers, as many of you know. Shocked face. Same thing is happening in Pittsburgh. His teammates love him, and his teammates have always had a type of disdain for Russell Wilson. That's key number one. Key number two. Fields is gaining on Russell Wilson. When the Steelers signed him, he was expected to be the starter. Then they traded for Justin Fields. Even still, Wilson has the edge, and it was expected that he'd be the starter. Not by me. I've never had any faith in Russell Wilson that he was going to be the starter. I didn't have faith when they signed him to that 1-year veteran minimum deal, and I still don't. Why do you ask? His stats have tapered off. Arm strength, arm accuracy, they've done the same thing. Doesn't matter that he has great weapons. Like, the offense will stop because of his regression. Just like my kid likes to say, dog water. It's like having a race car. Pickens, Najee Harris, and Warren, they're the race car. But you're leaving it parked in the garage. the garage, that's Russell Wilson. Now it makes sense that Fields has gained on Wilson. Schematically, he's better for the offense. That offense is going to be run-centric, especially if they have Fields at the helm. Just think about it like this. You got Najee Harris, you got Warren in the backfield. You got Justin Fields, who's going to catch up even more yards on quarterback runs, quarterback options, not to mention his scrambling ability. Fields is going to win that job. It's not a matter of if, but when. Especially with Wilson right now dealing with an injury. That couldn't have been a worse thing that could have happened to him. Sometimes you need a change of scenery and the full support of the staff. The Steelers have always been known for having a great structure, and it is benefiting Fields tremendously. The most difficult thing the Steelers will have to do is deal with when Wilson becomes the backup. That is going to be one hell of a dynamic and one of the biggest drama scenes you'll ever see. How do you deal with that? Not as just a staff, but as an organization. That is going to be one hell of a dynamic. And I hate to say it, but it all just, it's going to it makes sense that Russell Wilson, he's on his last leg. Ever since he got traded from Seattle to Denver, he hasn't been the same. And then this past year, I've had people argue with me, telling me, oh, man, he was looking pretty good. He had some weapons. Was he, though? Did they accomplish anything last year? The answer to that is no. It's not because of their division. It's not because of, the wide receivers dropping balls, which every team drops balls. The problem was the quarterback. They had a solid defense. The quarterback was the biggest issue. Nobody trusted that man. Not the head coach, not the offensive coordinator. Nobody trusted him. And that's why he's with the Steelers now. And the Steelers are seeing the regression. And Fields, you have to think, this is the last year of Fields' contract because the Steelers didn't pick up that option. So this is his contract year. This is also Russell Wilson's contract year. I don't know if Russell Wilson doesn't play, is he going to get picked up by somebody next year? Maybe as a backup. Maybe by the Carolina Panthers. I don't know. It's going to be one hell of a dynamic to find out. But thank you for watching The Burn. I want to thank every single one of my subscribers and my followers. If you have not subscribed yet, go ahead and do so. It helps me out a lot. It helps Hot Zone Sports out a lot. If you have not followed any of these pages, go ahead and do so. Facebook is hopping off. We got 21,000 followers. We post updated hot content every day. It's in the name. Oh, there it is. Hot Zone Sports. So this is Ryan Van Devers signing off. And everybody have an absolutely great Wednesday, the 7th of August. Get ready for those preseason games. We got our first one coming on Thursday. Hot Zone Sports signing out. Peace.